So, it's Father's Day, and I've decided to talk to you about my dad. This is me. This is my pa. As you can see, the word pa is just right over the edge, because that's where he drives me sometimes. So, I was whistling in the toilet the other day, and I wondered to myself, why do I do that? Then I remembered that I cultivated that habit from trips to the public toilets with my dad, where he would whistle unabashedly while answering the call of the wild. He used to tell me how, when he was younger, he lived in a home shared by 3 families, and there was only one toilet. There was always a fear that someone would burst into the toilet while he was still occupying it, because the toilet was built with the latch on the outside instead of the inside. So, there was either a choice of making heaving grunts while doing your thing, letting everyone in the vicinity know that they should back off, or you could whistle a joyful tune and kinda send a message that everyone should just chillax and wait their turn. Kinda like in-flight music before takeoff. Upon remembering the poor conditions my father used to live in, I remembered how he was reluctant to buy me an ice cream worth $2 only because a bowl of noodles used to cost him 50 cents. But he would still buy me the ice cream. But the biggest surprise my dad gave me was a Nokia on my 21st birthday, while he was still using the gigantic Motorola phone he bought years back that could still pass off as a water bottle. And I realized that though my dad appeared stingy, it was only with himself. One day, when I was coughing down my lunch, a friend of mine commented, "You eat so fast, like lightning. I can't call you a pig, 'cause even pigs don't eat that fast." Ever since then, she called me Lightning Pig. But wait, you gotta hear my story. I thought eating like that was normal, because my dad ate at the dinner table at that speed. And then I remembered this story he would tell me over and over again as a child. My dad used to do hard labor, and he used to drive a truck before he was an accountant. And he would sit down to have a meal with all his truck driving colleagues. And when the food came, as soon as it hits the table, it was everyone's game. And if you weren't fast, you would have missed your meal. That experience changed him. The funny thing is, it changed me too, and I wasn't even there. And another thing about my eating habits that my friends have picked up, every time I eat, I always clean my plate up and leave nothing for the dogs. Again, that's another story. One day, and this was back when I was 9 years old, and started to eat adult-sized meals. I didn't finish my dinner because I wasn't particularly hungry, or maybe the food wasn't great, or for whatever reason. My dad just looked at me and said, "Son, do you know that if you leave a grain of rice in your plate, that's how many pimples you would get on your face?" At first, I thought my dad was kidding. Come on, no 9-year-old boy who goes to school is that gullible, right? But then, I took a closer look at my dad's face, and looked at all the pockmarks he had on his skin from pimples of a bygone era, and I wondered to myself, how many dinners did my dad leave unfinished? And I didn't take the chance and finish up everything on my dinner plate that night, and every night after that. But the funny thing was, the pimples still came. Back in school, Dad used to use the carrot and stick approach to get me to do well in school. Back in year 6, I remembered that if I did get an A for the big exam, he would give me $10. And $10 at that time could get me a Ninja Turtle figurine, made in China, of course. If I got 4 A's, as we only took 4 subjects for that year, I could complete my whole Ninja Turtle collection. And my dad said to me, A, not A minus. That year, I bought Donatello and Raphael. Michelangelo and Leonardo had to stay in the toy store because I had 2 A's and 2 A minuses. I haggled with my dad that 2 A minus was equals to an A, and we arrived at a compromise. He bought me a third when I was nearly in tears about how close I was to getting full A's. But he wanted me to realize that there was always still the higher standard to achieve. Which is why I'm so addicted to video games, because perfection could be achieved over and over again with the reset button. If you failed, you could prove yourself worthy by playing again to achieve the perfect mark, something you can't do in school examinations. And hence, my game scores got higher while my school grades got poorer. Needless to say, I never completed my Ninja Turtle collection. I remembered I had this conversation with my dad when my grades were slipping, that I might want to be a comedian. Because comedians appeared on TV and they seemed to be living a glamorous life, and it seemed a good deal to make people laugh and to cash in from their laughter. But then Dad, being Dad, convinced me that most comedians lived on funny money. In other words, I'll probably be poor. And when I grew up, I realized that it would probably be true, because A, I was about as funny as my dad. B, Dad was about as funny as real life. C, real life wasn't funny. End of career. Today, I'm a toilet whistling, food gobbling, pockmarked face accountant who plays video games late into the night. And a lot of people say I look like my father, but I can't see why. Who am I kidding? I am my father's son, after all. Why did I do this video? Well, here we are. And here I am again, 15 years old, staring at the man that I could be. And there my dad is, staring at the boy that he once was. And there's no love like any other, and no mystery stranger than a dad's bond with his son. Despite not having the best parenting methods, maybe that was the only way he knew how to secure a better life for me, to show that he cared for me. Whatever it is, I miss my dad. So what I want to say is, Happy Father's Day, Dad. As strange and awkward as this may sound, and for me to say it, I heart you.